What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the summer edition of Morning Cup of Hockey, presented by Bet365. That's Colby Cohen. I'm Johnny Lazarus, and today we have a very special guest in James van Riemsdyk, the new member of the Detroit Red Wings. Colby's good friend and someone I have to confirm if I'm friends with, because I did send him a DM last night and he never answered. So I'm going to give him that off the bat when we bring him on. But Colby, I actually hung out with you 2 nights in a row this weekend, if anyone could believe that. Had a lot of fun. Do you want to go against the allegations, or what do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, I was just disappointed that you called it a night so early last night and that we didn't really get to spend any more time together. After dinner, you had a night, and it was an early night for you. And as soon as we got, we went back to Margate, the first thing Alex asked me, because I went, meet Alex and her friends out. She was like, "Where's Johnny?" It was the first question I got from her. She didn't say hi to me. She said, "Where's Johnny?" So, yeah, it was fun. It was good.
What did you say to that?
I said you had a long week and you were tired. I said,
very nice of you.
Listen, I'm the ultimate. Like, I have no problem saying no to plans, probably to a fault. Even last night, I cut out. My wife and I probably cut out at like 1, maybe a little after 1.
You were out till 1 a.m. last night?
Yeah, and the rest of the group, Dennis Seidenberg, his wife, Nate, like the rest of our group, they kept going, and they went to the next bar, and we cut out. And even Frank was giving me shit about leaving. And then Frank laughed and he was like, "I know peer pressure doesn't work on you. You're such a dickhead." And so I can't ever really get upset at somebody for being tired or not wanting to go, because I'm like the most guilty person of all time when it comes to that.
It was a 4 a.m. night on Friday night, and I had to recover. I had to get some sleep because I was driving home from Atlantic City this morning too. It was a long weekend, but a great weekend. We can get more into it probably in the second half of the show after we have Reamer on. I think we're going to get to him pretty early, but I did want to give one shout out. I promised Zach Firestone I'd give him the shout out, and I'd shout out Offsides, Becky Seidenberg's store. I did promise Zach. We shook hands. So I wanted to get that out and early. Great guy. Actually introduced me to Jalen Brunson, so I owe him for life because that was such a cool experience.
He told me the story. He told me the story last night.
I was very chill, by the way. I did not freak Brunson out at all.
You did not mark Messier. You did not mark Messier at it.
Jalen actually came up to me before he left and was like, "Yo, bro, you still want that picture?" Because I asked him if we could take one before he left.
Yeah,
pretty sick.
I can confirm that I was told that by Zach as well. I've actually mentioned Zach's name before on our show.
He told me that.
I do know that he listens, and I do know that he's a Flyers fan. He's a hockey guy. He's super, super close with the Seidenberg. So he's, been all, around the Islanders the last number of years. So I have mentioned him before, but,
nice putting a face to a name.
It's funny that all these circles are getting connected, because you've been down. I mean, you did the Nate Thompson 44 Concierge Pro Athlete Golf Tour this week with the Empty Netters guys. And then, it just so happened you guys are 30 minutes from Margate, which is where we live in the summer. So
is Reno ready, or do we have time to talk about it?
No, I mean, listen, I think he's getting himself set up right now. So he's probably going to jump in here in the next couple of minutes, but feel free. You know what I mean? Like, when Reamer comes in, we'll switch gears and we'll talk to him for a little bit, and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome event. As most people listen to our show know, I'm not a big golf guy, but like this weekend playing at Hidden Creek Golf Club, had the whole place rented out, like sick houses that we slept on the course. The Empty Netters and 44 Concierge, and Empty Netters, as you guys know, are Chris and Dan Powers, great friends of mine, now great friends of Colby, I believe, after you guys have hung. That was the first time you guys met, right? Like, I think
we've met in person, I think, a couple times.
Well, but Dan was like, I forgot how big Colby is. Like, people don't realize that you're a big dude.
Yeah. I mean, and since I'm getting ready for checking for charity, I'm feeling a little athletic these days too. Yeah. So cutting that body fat down and getting those Airdyne rides in. So I do think, Vic, maybe you could confirm this or not confirm this in our chat. I do think Reamer, he just texted me and said he joined. I'm not sure Vic says he's not here. Okay, so Johnny, tell us a little bit about exactly what the golf event was, and
Yeah.
I'll check in with Reamer here.
So this was the second annual Pro Athlete Golf Tour, put on, like we said, by 44 Concierge and the Empty Netters. Former NHL players, names like Scott Hartnell, Michael Delzato, Grant Fuhr, James Wisniewski. Delzato and Wisniewski were by far, I thought, the best two. Jason Demers. I'm blanking right now, but the list goes on and on of former players that were there competing against each other. Dennis Seidenberg, obviously, have to give him a shout out as well. Thompson played in it. But just a great 3 days of golf. Chris Powers actually made the joke. It's all you can eat golf. Like Michael Delzato on Friday played 45 holes. I don't know how he did it. But
I heard he's a good golfer too.
He's unreal. He's unbelievable. Delzato actually won the whole thing. He won like the I think the net and what would be the other one? Why am I blanking on it? What are the other terms for like money? Net and gross. He won the net and the gross.
I was like, where is he going with this one? I had no idea where you were going
net
with that.
Score, gross score, they use like handicap, I guess, to determine, one versus the other. But DZ was by far the best golfer there. And we hung out.
How's Jason Tamaris? How's he as a golfer?
He's pretty good too. I didn't watch him a whole lot because he was like kind of buzzing through the course. Like at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. when I woke up, he was already 9 holes through. Like he was buzzing. I watched
Dennis Seidenberg's a pretty good golfer too.
Yeah. I watched Wisniewski the most. He was sick.
The Borgata hooked everybody up. Shout out to Greg Kravitz and his team at the Borgata for making it very hospitable. And I know they're planning on bringing the event back to that Hidden Creek and doing that next year. And hopefully you'll get more participation and from more guys and more golfers. I mean, I know next year I'll definitely play and I'll definitely do it. Obviously I told everybody on the show last week, like we were away this past week with some old friends and stuff like that. So all right, listen, let's hit the pause button on that and let's bring in as everybody else refers to him as JVR, which is something I still don't think I've ever fully gotten used to. And I catch myself, and I know you have to read them in, so I'll give it back to you here in a second, but I always catch myself when I'm talking to other people about James, because he's just always been Reamer, him and I.
You say this every time you talk about him.
We've been friends for since we're so young, and I don't think he was JVR till he was in the NHL. Like I don't remember people calling him that when we were younger. So I always have to catch myself and when I'm talking about him and I'm like literally deleting. If I'm typing Reamer, I'm like deleting it and typing JVR. So why don't you read him in and why don't we'll bring him onto the show and let's find out what his summer's been like, because it's been a busy summer for him.
So before we bring on Reamer, just a quick word from our sponsor, Proraso, the most complete choice for shaving and beard care, made in Italy since 1948. Proraso has been a staple of Italian culture and barbershops globally for 4 generations. So get 15% off at proraso-usa.com with our promo code hockey15 in all caps, hockey15. Reamer, why didn't you answer my DM last night, and how has your summer been?
Oh, you guys had a hell of a dinner, it looked like last night. I was a little jealous. Nothing quite like Barclay Prime getting to pick out your steak knife. So definitely looked like you guys had a good one there.
Mm-hmm. I tapped out early though.
He did not. He didn't make it over to Margate. And I know Reamer used to spend some good nights, and we used to spend some good nights in Avalon together in our early 20s. So there's always that nostalgia around the shore. But were you just back in Jersey this past week? Because I think I saw. Did you guys have your VR hockey camps going on this week in Jersey, or was that out in Minnesota?
Yeah, so that was, I think it was the 5th year back in Jersey at the Red Bank Armory, where we've done it now the last like 3 or 4 years, where my youngest brother works. But yeah, that's definitely something that we all look forward to every year, just trying to pass along kind of what we've learned along the way to just the guys that are coming up through the Jersey ranks. And even though it's maybe not considered a hockey hotbed per se, there's been tons of players that have come out of there over the years, and we'd like to see that number continue to grow. So that's always again been something we've been passionate about, and that's kind of again a small kind of thing that we do each summer for a week, and who knows how that'll expand as Trevor and I kind of get closer here to the retirement sort of side of things. But it's definitely something we enjoy, and it's definitely something I think that we're going to probably dive into even more so when we're done playing.
So youngest brother Brendan, for those of you who don't know, played at UNH, played at Northeastern. He coaches up in Red Bank. I cross paths with him with the USA hockey stuff here and again, which is always a lot of fun.
I played against him my whole life.
Brendan, you did?
Yeah.
So he runs your guys' hockey school, is what you're saying? He kind of does all the heavy lifting for it?
Yeah, so he does a lot of the heavy lifting. So like you mentioned, he coaches a few different teams at the Red Bank Armory for the Red Bank Generals. And they've got a great setup there. And kind of Peter Herms, who owns the rink and kind of runs the whole show there, also owns the Muskegon Lumberjacks. Like, he's just so passionate about hockey and Jersey hockey and trying to make it a good experience for the kids. So I think that kind of trickles down into everything that they do there. I mean, that rink is still looking as sharp as it did when it opened, like probably 25, 30 years ago. Still one of the coolest rinks you could probably be at. Just what is it, the old kind of armory? It was, so that they turned into a hockey rink. So definitely one of the most pristine places as far as youth hockey rinks that I've ever been in. But yeah, they do a great job there. Just again, with the whole setup that they have, all the stuff that they have available for development wise and things like that. So it's a pretty great setup that we have there.
I would urge people right now, as you're listening to this, Google the Armory in Red Bank. It is this cool brick building that you just would not know what it is unless you have an idea of where you're going. And I remember, I haven't been there in so many years, but I can still kind of vividly see it. So that's cool that you guys do that. I mean, look, I think, there's definitely been, Jersey has sort of put a little bit of a flag in the ground, and obviously, like, we're 36 years old now, and Johnny Hockey, rest in peace, is a huge member of the hockey community in South Jersey, which is a little bit different. Central, I guess, where you're, Brick is more like Central Jersey, but it's all the Atlantic District, right? It's all one grouping, which is how you and I, met when we were young guys to begin with. So it's cool to see you and Brendan and Trevor doing that, and I'll be interested to see how you guys expand that, Reams, as you guys do retire, and hopefully you're spending a little bit more time back in the Northeast. Although I know you're going to have your hands full with your troop that you're growing out there. So let's get to some of the other hockey stuff, and I think even you were not exactly sure, like, you're going to play hockey forever. Like, I feel like you will literally play hockey until you're 95 years old. But whether you were going to play in the NHL this year or whatever, like, I think you had to think that through a little bit, and you land on Detroit. I tell you all the time when we talk, you need to keep playing because you're still clearly good enough. You had a great season last year, but maybe you could take us through the free agency process a little bit and how you landed in Detroit, because you've gone one end of the rainbow to the other at this point. Like, you've been the big free agent with the big signing. You've done it all. And now you're an old guy taking 1-year contracts, right? Yeah. So what was it like this year going through it?
Yeah. You know what? I think, again, as far as, like you mentioned, there's definitely different ends of the spectrum where, like, kind of going into right away, you kind of know you might have been on the spectrum where you're expecting to have a few kind of bigger offers and being maybe one of the bigger fish, to kind of, again, sorting through things a little bit more, being a little bit more patient. But ultimately, again, I think it always comes down to trying to find the best fit. And for me, it's never really been all about the money in that regard. Like, you want to find a place that wants you, first of all. That's a big part of it, and maybe an underlooked part of it, but also a place where you think you can have a fit with kind of your style of play and what you bring to the table and what the team is kind of bringing and where they're trying to go, where they're at. So I think for me, I was just very comfortable with that part of it with Detroit. It's seemingly the last few years, it was a place that I was maybe close to getting traded to at a couple different points, or potentially signing with as a free agent. So again, it's kind of interesting year to year sometimes, especially when you're on 1-year deals. It can kind of go a little bit different. obviously last summer having to kind of wait it out a bit till basically right before camp for something to come together. And this year having a few different options right away when free agency opens. So I think, again, when I was looking at Detroit, the things that I mentioned, obviously them having a little bit of interest over the last few years and having a lot of that similar management. And I kind of view it as a team that maybe a little bit similar to Columbus last year, where you do obviously have a lot of really established veteran players that have been doing it for a while and really kind of high level players. And then you have a bunch of these kind of younger guys in the mix that, again, trying to really spread their wings and continue to grow as a player. So I think, again, for where I can kind of fit into that, I feel like I can be a good kind of asset for the team in a lot of different ways, obviously on the ice, but also, again, just hopefully using my experience to set a good example and just how I go about my business.
Was it difficult to move on from Columbus though, Reamer? Because I know it's only 1 year, but it seemed like the year you guys had, despite not making the playoffs, was just like a very special and uplifting season. And I think, everyone in the NHL that follows the league was rooting for you guys to make the playoffs. And, it seems like they're a team that's knocking right on the door, right? So like everyone this year, I guarantee you, like NHL Network, ESPN, TNT, they're all going to say the Columbus Blue Jackets are that team that might make the playoffs this year. Like, so for you, was it, maybe not the easiest decision to move on from them specifically?
Yeah, I love my time there. I mean, it was kind of cool too. Like for as short of a time that I was there, I felt like I was kind of really embraced by like the fan base and even the guys on the team too. Like I have a lot of guys on that team that I'll consider like really good friends for the rest of my life. And I can't say enough good things about being there and playing with those guys. I mean, I think just the setup that they have in general, like it's a great setup, great facilities, really, really easy place to live, great for families and stuff like that. So I can't say enough good things about Columbus. And again, obviously things can change over the course of it when a season ends, going into free agency. And was as the season ended, I was obviously hoping to get something. I felt like, again, I was a big part of what we were able to do last year and really enjoyed my time there, really loved it. And at that point, when the year ended, you're kind of hoping that maybe something might work out. But again, I've been playing now for long enough to know that just different, different things get viewed differently by different people, I guess. And that's fine and great. And that's just how the game sort of goes. But I can't say enough good things about my time there, about the guys there. Don Waddell was great with me from day one. So yeah, it was again, the whole experience overall was just awesome.
Like Colby said, you're going to be the next Jaromir Jagr. 3 different teams, 3 different years. You're just trying to hit every single market in the NHL, or what?
I'm trying to hit every single 100th season I can. So this will be my third one for. I had the Toronto Centennial and then Boston, and now we have it in Detroit this year. So being kind of a little bit of a hockey history sort of nerd, definitely something that's pretty exciting for me. And I know my dad, he was like the first thing he mentioned after I made my decision. He's like, well, we got another one of these Centennial seasons coming up. So lots of history there, and that's going to be a fun part of things for this season.
Well, you're gonna end up a bachelor if you end up trying to be like Jaromir Jagr. And but having said that, you could probably squeeze out another like 4 or 5 seasons. Like I know how you take care of yourself. We've talked about it, and it's one of the things I wanted to ask you about tonight. As you are creeping up there and you're over 1,000 regular season games, I think it's like 1,085 games or something. I know it's in that ballpark. Last time I looked at that. How different is your summer training now? Because again, and I've talked about this with you on the show, and I've talked about it without you. You're a guy. I was just with Mike Havland over the last week because he came to our training camp, and we were even talking about it. Like, you always hear coaches say, be a good pro, take care of yourself. Next to that picture of that phrase would be your face, just with all that you do to get yourself ready to play hockey, with your treatment schedules and your team of people. So anything this summer in particular that you've changed or that you're doing differently, or anything you are doing that you wouldn't mind sharing publicly that you think our audience would maybe be a little surprised at or taken back by?
He's eating through a straw.
Well, that was a couple weeks this season doing that, but after getting knocked in the teeth there. But I don't know. I think ultimately for me, especially as I've gotten older, you become more and more appreciative and more grateful of your time, and you just enjoy the little things even more and more. And like you said, for me, I've tried to again, as the years gone on, it was instilled to me very early, just what you put into it, and how you take care of yourself, how you prepare, is what's going to basically kind of be your way to last if you want to play a long time. And it's just something I enjoy every summer, just looking at different things, whether that's training wise or body work wise, nutrition wise, whatever that might be, recovery wise, and just continually kind of tweaking things with that. So again, for me, it's been a lot more recently. It's been a lot of stuff with the sauna, cold tub stuff. I really think that's helps me a lot. This red light.
How often are you doing that? Because and just to share this info, I wanted to get a sauna and a cold tub for my house, and the guy I reached out to for help with which one to get was Reamer, because like I know he's dialed with that type of thing. So how often are you using those types of things? Like, what does your routine look like with that?
Yeah, so that's something, again, I feel like the more that kind of studies, and you see a ton of these, like, I guess, like biohackers, you might want to call them, that come out with different things and different protocols and tinkering with that. But for something like the sauna, I try to use it at least a little bit every day, just as like almost like a flush at the end of a practice or a game. Get in there for like 5 or 10 minutes and kind of try to relax a little bit and kind of end my day like that. It's always kind of nice too, because usually you're sitting in there with a couple of the guys too, and kind of chatting a bit, and that's kind of changed too, where now it's like you do that in the sauna, and it used to be maybe you go out for a couple of drinks after. You still might have a couple of drinks in there, but it's definitely a little bit different, where guys are hanging around at the rink a little bit more now, which is great and which I love. So yeah, I try to use that maybe a few minutes every day, 5-10 minutes every day, and again, like maybe the cold tub stuff, usually do like a quick dunk in there once or twice a day, depending on if it's a game day or not. And maybe like once a week, I'll get in there for a little bit longer. But yeah, those are some things that you try to find what works for you. And that's what I've definitely found has worked pretty well for me.
Reamer, I know I kind of joked at it a little bit, but the last time you were on here, like I told you, my teeth story, that my teeth were fake because I got mine knocked out in juniors. And then, obviously a few weeks later it happens to you. But like that, I mean, again, like what you got a stick, what'd you lose? Like 4 teeth and you got like 30 stitches or something, like some crazy accident by also someone who you're friends with.
Metrics man.
Right? Like, was that your first ever like teeth losing incident in your career?
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy that it happened this late.
Funny that we were laughing about that, and then this happens, whatever it was, a few weeks after. But yeah, first time I've lost. I had a few chipped, but this was pretty gruesome and pretty brutal. Probably one of the worst things I've had to deal with, actually, injury-wise. Just 4 teeth out of there. I think it was around 50 stitches or so. And I actually had one of my teeth that I was able to come back and play in the third period, but they were kind of trying to get me back out there, and everything was so swollen, and they ended up stitching one of my teeth into my lip that they found after the game when I went to go get cleaned up again. I was in the chair for another like 3.5 hours after the game, just getting the rest.
And you were obviously numb, so you couldn't feel it. Like that's like
right? For sure. Couldn't feel any of it, and definitely running on adrenaline. But yeah, that was a tough few days, and then
1,000+ games, and it happens.
And then it finally happens like that with the buddy, obviously getting me there. But no,
how tight are you still with Ian? Like so. We actually all played together on the U.S. national team. Ian's nickname at the time, Ian Cole, was Metrics Man, because he used to drink these protein shakes, and he was just so much bigger and stronger than all of us.
He's never turned down a protein shake, I don't think.
No.
Since. I don't know.
we were all going in there at like 6'3" string beans, and he was already like 6'3", 200 pounds when we were like 16 years old. But did you guys always stay close? Like, and then like, what was the reaction? Like, how I'm sure he felt terrible, but like, did he at least buy you dinner once your mouth was fixed, or what?
I'm gonna have to hold him to that when we play him this year. But no, he felt bad, and like I've kept in touch with him over the years, and yeah, again, obviously us playing together all those years ago and going through that stuff with the U.S. program, you have that bond with guys. But I think the kind of the funniest part of all that was his dad is a dentist, so so his mom actually texted my mom and was kind of like, "Oh my God, like I can't believe what happened." Like,
I'm thinking it was staged now for dad to get some business.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that was part of it. That's how he's keeping everyone in business keeping his dad in business out there. But no, so that's obviously a funny part of that story. So yeah, definitely a tough few days with that one.
Our producer Vic wanted me to ask if you think it would have been prevented if you actually had your mouth guard in your mouth.
Well,
you're one of those guys who just bites it.
Yeah, my top teeth were all good, so I think I might have had it in actually for once. But the top teeth were all good, and then just got massacred on the bottom. But the top teeth were good, so I got to look back and see if I actually did have it in for once. But I think I actually might have there.
I'm pretty sure it was on McAfee too that you came back. Like that was pretty savage to come back in that game. That was all over. Like all the people that don't talk about hockey consistently, like that clip was just like, I didn't realize until tonight Vic and Johnny were the ones who told me that it was Ian, and I was like, I'm like that just like, because I mean I haven't kept in touch with him, but like anytime I see him, it's like it's just great. I've always really liked Ian. He's a great guy. So I didn't know that though. These guys schooled me on that a couple hours ago.
I don't want to focus on Columbus too much, but we gotta ask one question about a specific guy. Obviously, I was having an argument about it with James Wisniewski and the Empty Netters guys actually over the weekend. It probably wasn't even an argument because we all were kind of on the same side. But Reamer, as far as you go with like defensemen you've played with, everyone this weekend, and we were at the Pro Athlete Golf Tour, with a bunch of former NHLers, everyone was saying the same thing. Like, you put Zach Werenski in a more popular hockey-focused market. Granted, like, Columbus is a great sports city, maybe not necessarily known to be a hockey market, but Werenski is talked about way more, if he's playing in maybe a Toronto, a Boston, one of those sort of cities. But, you watching him up close the year he had, like, what can you say about this guy and also the way he is off the ice too? Because he seems like such a great human being as well.
Yeah, awesome guy. Just was a complete stud for us. And I'm just thinking through like the list of guys who I've played with over my career. He's definitely like top defenseman, if not top 2 or 3. Like I put him in the same breath as like Claude Giroux when I play with him, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. He is definitely deserves probably more notoriety for how good he is. And he reminds me of kind of like a present day, like Scott Niedermayer, because he makes it look so easy. Like he's just
skating is
so powerful, so smooth, plays every single situation, just doesn't make a mistake. It feels like ever for how much he has the puck and how much he's out there. So, again, especially with the type of year that we had, like he was for sure a guy that deserves to be in like that Norris Trophy running, if not the Hart running, just because of how important he was to our team. But yeah, he's incredible. And again, like you said, like you play with guys, and I play with them at Worlds before, so you get a glimpse of how good they are. But then obviously just to see it every day and just to see it, remember even in like the first like pre-training camp practice, like trying to get a pass through him on like a 2-on-1, it's like impossible. So it's like you obviously knew how good offensively he was, but just like how he can kill plays. And anytime he gets any touch on the puck's getting broken out and it's going the other way. So yeah, he's incredible, and for sure one of the top guys I've ever played with, and in the same breath as guys like that. And maybe even like, again, I got the chance to play with Prongs, and I know he was kind of a little bit towards the end of his career, but had that similar type of impact where like he just touched a lot of areas of the game and was just so dominant. Obviously did it in a little bit different of a way, but than Prongs did, but just like incredible, and can't speak highly enough about what kind of player he is and what kind of teammate he is too.
I think his skating is as impactful as McCarr and Quinn Hughes. Like, I think he's the only other defenseman that really moves like those two guys. And
North-south for sure, but maybe not as well laterally, I feel like.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Really?
The way that guy gets across the blue line is fucking scary good. But
yeah.
I'm
he's like
guilty.
6'3" too, so he's just like, it doesn't look like, again, like guys like that are that big. It never really maybe looks like.
They're not bending their knees, right? You've heard that before, haven't you?
Maybe they don't look as dynamic, but I can just going out there, like when you're even in practice, like you're going out there trying to like front him, you're like, just please don't make me look bad here. Just throw it behind the net or something. But he's a special player.
I'll tell you this, I'm guilty of it. Like, it took watching him in the Four Nations this year for me to remember that this guy, not that long ago, was on the best, arguably, pair in the NHL. I mean, obviously, like Keith and Seabrook had their years but like Jones and Werenski together for that couple of years where they were both like really at the ceilings of their games, like that defensive pair under Torts was unbelievable in Columbus. I mean, the year they took Tampa out of the first round, and I think you're spot on. If he played in Boston, we would be talking about this guy 7 days a week. There's no doubt about it. And I'm glad that he came into Four Nations and it was Adam Fox's power play, and then all of a sudden it was not Adam Fox's power play. It was Werenski running that top spot, and you can guarantee that he'll be on the Olympic team this year after the way he played and sort of how good that he is. So I'm guilty of that, guys, of kind of forgetting just how good he is because he played in Columbus, which it's not a team that I've seen as much over the years, although, you know, the fans are great having been in that barn. Like it is a passionate group of hockey fans. But let me ask you, because we just dragged our feet into this Olympics conversation. You are an Olympian. You're probably not going to make the Olympic team this year. Sorry, pal. I love you. If I was running the team, I'd put you on there, no doubt about that. I'd have you in front of the net, and I'd have Shaddy running the first power play. So that just shows you my bias. But you've lived this Olympic season situation before. And I'm curious because I do think there were a number of players this season leading up to Four Nations that struggled. Like, I think Tage Thompson, the minute he found out he didn't make the Four Nations team, it's like the weight was off his back and he started playing really well. You could say that about Bouchard, Darnell Nurse for Canada, guys like that. So if you could kind of go back a little bit and think through, how difficult is it? Because you've got to be so focused on playing well and trying to win a Stanley Cup and trying to be really good for your team. But you also know in the stands, Team USA or Team Canada, they're watching you, Finland, Sweden, whoever it may be. Like, what kind of pressure does that add to a season for a 25-year-old player? How old were you when you played in the Olympics? About 25?
Yeah, 24, I think I was. Yep. Yeah, you said it. I think, again, and it goes back to the cliches, but just staying in the moment and not getting too far ahead of yourself, because that's the best way you're going to put your best foot forward and get a chance to make the team. And I think I was certainly not a guy who was like a lock going into that season, but got off to a good start. And that's obviously huge to get the ball rolling. And again, like you're definitely, the better that you do for your team and help your team win, you're playing for kind of obviously two distinct different things in a way, but at the same time, it's like if you're doing well and your team's winning and you're producing, that's helping your current team, and then it obviously helps your situation to get to go to something like the Olympics. So that's still one of the, looking back, it's gonna be for sure one of the coolest things that I got to do in my career, and on that stage, and to get to be roommates with Phil Kessel again for 2 weeks. I'd probably do a lot of crazy things to get that opportunity again. That was amazing. but no, like again, we came up short, and it was like in the semifinals, and it's one and done. I think it was like a 1-0 game or a 2-0 game. So that part still definitely sucks because it felt like we were rolling all the way up until that point. But yeah, that overall.
You also were second on the team in point streamer. I just looked it up.
Yeah, I think I led the tournament in assists, but who's asking? No.
Hey, if you ask the Philly, ask the Philly media, you can't pass. I mean, like I was like a crazy person on TV every night trying to explain to people that you set more guys up for grade A's in your years in Philly and you just get no finish. I mean, like, so I'm not surprised you had a bunch of assists at the Olympics. That's why I'd put you back on the team this year.
No, but actually one of the best things for me about just the whole experience was like obviously playing with Phil. We had such great chemistry. And Pavs was our center, and I think we had Tyler Bozak as our center, and in Toronto that year, and then Pavs was our center. And I feel like just stylistically, they're kind of similar in the sense that both very like high IQ players and kind of good on face-offs, touch a lot of different areas of the game. So I feel like it was like there wasn't like we were trying to figure out like the chemistry thing. So that was definitely an advantage that we had in that way. And it still sucks that, looking back, just how you come up short and you run into a little bit of a buzzsaw in Canada. It's a tight game. It's a 1-goal game. And but no, overall, the overall experience of just representing the U.S. at the Olympics and just the pride of kind of everyone back home. Like I remember my buddies and my parents and my brothers like sending me pictures of like watch parties that they had at this local spot. Like I think it was like 6 a.m. when our game was against Russia, but everyone was fired up and having a few beers and a few drinks, watching the game, and those are looking back, some pretty amazing memories.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone knows where they were when that. I'm not going to ask you about the Oshie shootout. Everyone, it's like the most over-asked question, but like I know every American hockey player knows where they were. Like I was actually in the Prudential Center practice arena lobby watching that on the TV. You can obviously be familiar with that arena, but like that's where I was when it was on. Like that was one of the coolest Olympics I can remember growing up. But like sticking with Team USA and just American hockey, Reamer, like everyone knows you and Patrick Kane 1 and 2 in 2007. Now you're back together again in Detroit. Like I imagine he was one of the first guys who texted you when you signed there. Anyone else cool reach out, or what was your back and forth with Patty Kane after you signed with Detroit this summer?
Yeah, that was super cool. Like someone that again, one of my look at that hair too.
You guys look like you're 12 in that picture.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy. Like the technology then even too was that barely even like HD on the camera. I bet. Oh my god.
Probably better for you that it wasn't.
Yeah, touche. Oh man, but no. Again, he's someone I've kept in touch with a lot and over the years, and just again, as far as us bouncing different things off each other, hockey-wise, training-wise, things like that. So obviously super happy for him and the type of a career that he's had, and he deserves it for how much he loves the game, how much he puts into the game. I think, again, especially the longer you play, you kind of there's definitely different levels to it. I think we all love what we do, but you can definitely tell the guys that how much this really sort of how really into it they are and how much they're willing to go the extra mile. And he's certainly one of those guys where just all the thought and time and effort he puts into his craft is, especially for how much he's accomplished, right? He's still that way. And it's year 20 for him.
Yeah, wow,
19 or 20. So it's crazy. But no, that was definitely, again, one of the, about getting the chance to play with him was definitely something that was going to be pretty cool. And we've obviously chatted a little bit since, and definitely excited to get a chance to play with him again. So we have a lot of history with us over the years, and being the first Americans to go 1 and 2 in the draft, which is something that is definitely pretty cool thing as well. So for us to get a chance to play on the same team is all these years later is definitely pretty special.
Yeah, there was a guy at dinner last night that went to Pioneer High School. He's friends with James Wisniewski. He was playing in the golf tournament. And we were talking about, he's like, I'm from Ann Arbor. I'm like, I went to high school in Ann Arbor. Like we got talking, and now seeing that photo of you from those days. And then we just spent the week out in Sag Harbor with Willie and Shaddy and all the kids, and like just so many laughs from like all of the stupid shit from like the boxing coach to Willie getting yelled at on the bench in Slovakia that one time. And remember Ron Ralston
to the coach.
What did he say to Willie?
I'm so sorry.
Colin Wilson says he's sorry to Ron Ralston on the bench while we're playing against like Slovakia, and Raleigh's like, don't say sorry to me, say fucking sorry to your teammates or
something like that.
With those green Easton sticks. Those green Easton sticks back in the day. it was a fun week of hearing a lot of those old stories and those memories. So to see that photo of you and Kane from high school is it's icing on the cake. So Johnny, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to ask him. Yeah, go ahead, ask him, and then let's give him the night off here. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, and usually my last ones are dumb, Reamer, but this one's actually smart, and we haven't really asked any players about it yet. No, I swear it's actually a really decently well thought out question. I think you're going into year 16, right?
17.
17. Sorry, don't mean to take a year off, but the talk of 84 games. You know the grind of a long season. I know it's just 2 games, but 2 games in what already is a long season. Like, where are your thoughts on the NHL doing that? Because it won't be this season; it'll be next season. But I have to ask you, someone who's been in the league as long as you've been, how many 82 game seasons have you actually played too? Like, how many?
I'd have to look at that to see how many I've actually played all 82. I know I've been in a few shortened for. Obviously for like COVID or lockouts and things like that. I'd have to look at that. But you know what? I think some of the other changes, I don't think it's like just looking at that.
Oliver says hi.
The third co-host. No, but I think obviously it's not just in a vacuum or like you're just adding 2 games onto what's already there. Like I think nowadays, just with how everyone trains and how everyone's kind of prepared and to hit the ground running once camp starts. I think the 84 games combined with shortening the preseason, shortening some of the other aspects of preseason where it's like, I think almost a little bit more than a week shorter, and then capping the exhibition games. I think, again, like it's at a certain point, like it's pretty similar, like preparation and probably wear and tear, not obviously a little bit more for a regular season game, but like you're kind of swapping some of those out for some of these. And I think the season, I want to say it gets spread out. Don't quote me on that exactly, but I think the amount of days in the season, so there might be some more, how they spread the games out is going to be a little bit different too. So I think combining that all together, it's definitely manageable. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong, it's still a long year and it's still ups and downs and it's still a grind and you still have to know how to manage all that and take care of yourself and prepare all that. But I think kind of with how they're doing it, I think it's in a way that's probably like the net effect of all the wear and tear. I think it's probably works out to be fairly similar, and then maybe you add in some extra meaning in some of those games too, instead of just going out there. Again, the preseason can be long, especially for some teams that play kind of 8 games, and it seems like it drags out for a while, especially with how ready to go it seems like a lot of guys come in physically. So
I said it during the year, like I thought it would have been awesome to have, instead of the 84, like I'm a fan of the playing game idea. Like I'm a huge NBA fan. I think it works great in the NBA. You guys probably would have been in one, if there were one this year. Like I would have fucking loved that. I mean, I don't know if you have any feelings toward that. And sorry to drag out this question. I know you probably want to leave, but
no. No, it's definitely interesting. Like just all those different, to see the way different sports do it. Even I don't know. I think even like how they do their in-season tournament is kind of cool. Just again,
really?
Well, just something, I don't know, maybe you add an extra little incentive and whatever. It's just something different. Again, it can be a long year, and I think I don't know, sometimes it just creates a little extra buzz going in, and you get maybe a little bit better product when guys are a little bit more juiced up for whatever reason. There's a little bit of money on the line too, which is not a bad thing ever. So yeah, I don't know. I think all those things are kind of cool ways to kind of bring a little bit more excitement and things like that. I don't mind the play in the NBA either. I think it's kind of cool. I again, for us, I think we have more parity in our league than they do in general. So I don't know, it kind of just we've had 8 seeds go all the way to the finals and win and things like that. So yeah, exactly. So I don't know if I love it for us necessarily yet. I'd have to maybe think through that more, talk through that more. But I don't know. I'm always open for stuff like this to do things a little bit more creatively, or at least talk about them and see if they make sense for us. Because I think, again, you see the way other sports are trying to do different things now to kind of change with the times, while obviously still honoring the kind of history and integrity of the game and how things have been done. So I think it's always obviously a cool balancing act for some of that. But those are definitely things that I'd be open to. Again, if it's for whatever reason, maybe it draws in, you do things a little bit differently. It draws in some different people that maybe want to watch hockey, and there's more stuff out there, more stuff to talk about, and things like that, and draw more interest that way. So I don't think stuff like that is a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, and I'd say like the young guy trying to make the team, it's disappointing for that guy because those preseason games, I mean, for me, like they were everything. But reality is, you look at every NHL roster, they've got all one-way contracts. Like it's pretty rare that the NHL team is not 99.9% picked before training camp even starts. I mean, it's just reality in my opinion. So like I it's less opportunities for a young guy to get into preseason and make shit happen, but it's just reality of the truth of how this all goes down. And yeah, like preseason for veterans is guys are like, they're miserable out there. Guys for the most part do not like it. So all right, buddy, listen, we appreciate your time. I know you've got a lot going on. We really do. You've come on our show a number of times, and we're always super appreciative of that. We hope your summer finishes out well, and it'll be, I don't know if weird, but it'll be different to see you in that Red Wing jersey next year. Like, I don't know why, like the Bruin jersey, like just to me, like for right away, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks right on him. The Red Wing one, I think, will be a little strange. Like, it'll take me a little bit of time to get used to seeing you there. I don't know why, but it just,
I don't know. The red will definitely be, I don't think I've played on many teams thinking back like that have been that red. Usually it's just like blue or whatever for the most part. And so yeah, that'll be, but again, that jersey is one of
my favorites
in pro sports.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's unbelievable. So that'll be nice to add to the, to my little guy, Liam. He's got in his room, we've got a wall of, we're going to have to maybe get him a bigger room if I keep playing because we got all these jerseys on the wall now. So we've got to get a smaller frame or something for some of these. But no, that'll definitely be a special one to add up there.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Listen, give the family our best, and we're going to keep bugging you to get Trevor on the show, and we do need to get him on here. So now you can at least bless that and tell him to make some time for us.
Brendan listens, man. Brendan's in our chat like almost
he comes in the chat. He's funny.
You should throw him on there.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, he'd be a great guest. I agree. I think he'd be a better live guest though. We'll get him during the regular season when it's live. We can get him in there live one morning. So all right, listen, have a good rest of your summer, buddy, and we'll look forward to watching continued success as you start crossing over that 1,100 game mark here early in the season, like knock on wood, but keep going, buddy. Keep going.
Thanks, Reamer.
Right, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're good. Awesome stuff. So fun to talk to that guy always, Colby. Great get. And
I hope when he's done, I'm sure he'll have a million options, but like Kevin Shattenkirk joined the NHLPA. And I mean, I see a world where in the next, if Reamer wanted to go down that path, like I could see those two guys running the PA at a certain point, because they're both guys that have been a big part of the PA. They were a big part in hiring. I was going to say Charlie Baker, but Charlie Baker's the NCAA guy. Is it Walsh? Marty Walsh? They were both a huge part in the hiring of Marty Walsh for the PA. And they're both guys that are so well respected amongst the players. And I know Shaddy took a role with the PA. I would not be shocked if Reamer were to do something like that. And then eventually at some point, like he's a guy who could run the PA. I mean, he could, he's smart enough. And you play over 1,000 games in the league, it pretty well. So it was good catching up with him. He lives in Minnesota in the summer, so I don't really get to see him during the summer anymore, which is a bummer. But he's a class act. I mean, him and his brothers, they're all, and the whole family, I mean, his parents, like everyone, they're a classy family. So it's good to see people like that succeed in the world for sure.
Yeah. I don't think I've met him in person yet, but always fun having him on the show. I'm sure I'll bother him at MSG this year, and he'll probably
definitely.
He'll try to dodge me.
No, he won't. He won't.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He's the best. Like he's one of the best. So he won't beat you up a little. He won't beat you up at all or anything like that. But he'll take a crack at you if you ask a dumb question, and not just you, like anybody, because he will give thoughtful answers. So he appreciates a thoughtful question, which you could tell by the last question you asked him. He could have shut that question down after a sentence or two. That was a 15-minute answer almost.
Well, also Columbus, if they have 84 games this year, who knows?
Right. Know? So, but you could just see that he's thoroughly thinking these things through, the way that he responds, and what would be really cool would be at some point here, if it's next year, to see him and his brother play on the same team. I think that would be pretty special. I think Trevor's one of the more underrated defensemen who's been in the National League for the last 10 years. I just don't think he's ever gotten the credit that he deserves. So anyways, what else did we want to get into tonight? I know that there's been some signings. Most of these guys don't end up getting to arbitration. And it looks like most of those deals have been done. Roslovic is still sitting out there. He's still sitting out there, which I think is pretty interesting. I wonder why.
Well, Carolina also, and I'm just pulling up just hockey or Puckpedia really quick. Carolina, I was talking about this again with Dan, Chris, and Wisniewski. Like, Carolina signs Ehlers to an 8.5 5-year contract. Jack Roslovic was making, I think, $3 million last year. Roslovic finished the year with 22 goals. Ehlers has 24. Like, maybe there's a world where you keep Roslovic, you save a ton of money, and you're getting, 2 less goals. Obviously, Jack Roslovic had a great career year last year. Ehlers has had better seasons than he had this previous year. But, like, this could end up
Ehlers also dealt with some injury troubles last year.
But this could be an overpay by Carolina. Who knows when it's said and done? Like, maybe they made a mistake not keeping Roslovic and adding more to their roster at a cheaper price. But also, Colby, I do think it's important that we talk about the Gaudreau 5K as well. The announcement came out this week that they raised, I think, over $500K for that. And, I know you were very involved in that. We talked about it a lot with Jane and Guy when they came on here. And again, like, nobody made it to arbitration, so there's not necessarily a ton to talk about in that regard. But the Gaudreau 5K was very near and dear to our show. So if you wanted to mention that as well before we kind of hop on here, and we do have some ads to get to as well after, but I think that's important.
Listen, I was thankful that John Stevens called me and got me involved. I was really appreciative of that. So as I sit here down the shore, John Stevens lives a couple towns over down the shore as well. He's big in the South Jersey, Philly area. I mean, he was captain of the Phantoms, coached the Flyers, coached the Phantoms, called their Cups. I mean, he's got a lot of history here. So listen, anything tied to the Gaudreau family, to seeing the hockey world and the regular world supporting, and the fact that they raised $500,000+ to build the playground. We had Jane and Guy on the show. They talked about how impactful it would be. I'm planning and checking for charity this coming weekend. There is a Team Gaudreau in it. I mean, Johnny always used to put a team
I
in
saw him play
tournament.
there. Yeah.
I actually, when I really started to get to know Johnny, he was still I think he was a freshman at BC the last time I played against him in that tournament. So it was a while ago. And like, he was a problem. He was so good. So he scored the overtime winner in the championship game against us. And I wasn't actually on the ice, which I was pissed about. I was like really not happy with the coach for not, because, like, granted, I probably still wouldn't have been able to do anything against him. But at the time I was older, like, he was only 18 years old or 19 years old. So I would have at least had a chance, we'll say a fighting chance, but not a great one. So, it great to see that for sure. Hopefully, we've said this on our show before, like, they need to continue to have him as a Columbus Blue Jacket. They need to continue to involve his wife, his family. Like, I hope Columbus does. I think they will.
It was awesome when Meredith came out and announced the pick in the first round of the draft this year. Like, the entire place rose to their feet. Like, that was a really cool moment to be there for. I didn't mean to cut you off, but sorry.
No, it's okay. I was reading a text message. And I also heard, I heard Columbus went out of their way to do certain things for his family, for Meredith financially, that they didn't
Amazing.
legally
Yeah.
or technically have to do. So kudos to Columbus for that. So I think that's all we really got. Like, you know, I'll just quickly bring this up. I had like another tweet where I took another shot at the commissioner of the WHL because Roger McQueen was the 10th overall pick. He just committed to Providence College.
Yeah. I didn't even see that tweet. You mentioned that at dinner last night. I didn't go look at that.
Well, I just said maybe the WHL should invest in some blenders and some dumbbells because of his whole smoothie weightlifting comment. I also want to say this. I think the WHL is an amazing league. It's produced some of the best hockey players that have ever been on the planet. It is one of the best development leagues there is for a hockey player. It's supposedly the toughest of the junior leagues out there in Canada.
Ask Colby Armstrong.
My beef, I'm not taking shots at the Dub when I'm saying these things. I'm taking shots directly at Dan Neer. Like not, I don't have a bone to pick with that league. I have a bone to pick with what the commissioner said repeatedly. And now looks pretty foolish because what the 10 best players from that league have all left to go to the NCAA. So I thought that was pretty funny when I saw McQueen. I'm sure there will be more. Like I'm sure more guys will start to make those announcements. I mean, Martone, like it's a domino effect right now. I know Martone's OHL, but certainly a domino effect right now.
Yeah, and again, like Elliot Friedman actually and Kyle were talking about it on 32 Thoughts today, and we actually haven't mentioned that we're recording on Sunday, August 3rd. That's important to provide context just in case something happens Monday or Tuesday. And they said, like, you know, no junior league compares to the NCAA. Like, you know, it's not a us versus them. It's they're at the top, and we have to look at this a whole different way.
Yeah,
and that's just how it is.
Listen, you can't compare a 16-year-old kid to a 23-year-old.
No.
Like, even if the 16-year-old will eventually be a better hockey player, like you're 16 years old, there's a chance you haven't gone through puberty yet. Like, there's a chance. Like, some kids, they go through puberty late. Like, so you're talking about a 23-year-old who could be married, like, and like has man strength versus 16-year-old kid, and everybody can skate now. There's no more bad skaters. Everybody can skate. So I completely agree with that. It is not an us versus them with junior hockey, but this is where the USHL has always really just thrived and understood the role of development and sending players to the NCAA. And every once in a while, they send guys directly to pro hockey. There's no doubt. But that's where the CHL is going to need to realize that they need to take a page of the USHL's book of like, let's just have these guys have an amazing experience until they're like 18 or 19. And then let's be happy for them when they go get these big NIL deals or they get these opportunities to go to these amazing universities, get great educations, you know, develop under great coaches, great strength coaches, you know, lots of great smoothies, all of the above, you know what I mean? So that was kind of the last thing I wanted to mention. I'll let you, you know, get us into a couple of our ad reads, and then we'll say goodnight.
First, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Outwest. I was wearing my Outwest polos on the golf course all weekend. The most comfortable polos and sweatshirts, hoodies in the game. From early morning skates to late night league games, Outwest polos are built to keep up with lightweight, breathable, and made to move fabric. They're clean, sharp, and built for guys who don't want to wear the same thing as everyone else. So head to outwest.us and use our code Cuppa, CUPPA, in all caps for 15% off of your order. And then let's get into our bet of the night, presented by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. So download the app and get in on the game. You must be 19 or older. And tonight's bet is, will the Detroit Red Wings make the playoffs this season? At plus 260 to get in, minus 350 to miss. I think it's very accurately depicted with the odds. I don't think Detroit gets in. I just don't think they're built enough on the back end, and I don't know if their goaltending is as strong. Obviously, I believe John Gibson, right? They signed him this summer, so he'll be the starter. So maybe it's a different look.
Traded for him.
Traded. Thank you. So maybe it's a different look, but I don't know, man. That Atlantic division is just too tough. I don't see how Detroit gets in over Tampa, Toronto, or Florida, maybe even Ottawa and Montreal. at this point, maybe there's a chance they get in the wild card, but I don't know. The Atlantic Division to me is one of the best in the entire NHL. I just don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Sorry, Reamer, but I also don't know if he'll finish this. I don't think he'll finish the season there. Like, I think he's a guy that,
really?
Come trade deadline, I think a contender is going to look at him and say, this is a hell of a player that could bring a lot of great depth to our team.
Yeah. Wow. That's a statement.
Remember, Columbus was in a playoff push. Like, they weren't going to walk away from him when they were a point out of a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm. And, that's really it for this week's show. To those who defended me on YouTube last week, I appreciate it. Still no updates to that whole situation.
Comments were great. The comments were great.
Do I do a reveal right now? I'm getting dirty looks.
No, there's no revealing.
Okay, no reveal. No. Okay, you wrap up the episode. Great week. Do you want to tell everyone what you're doing this week or any big plans for you coming up? I'll be playing in the John Boy Media Floorball Tournament. I did it last year, so we're doing that this weekend. I'm excited to be out in Jersey City all weekend, filming and playing in that. Hopefully I can have a better outcome than last year, but that's all I've got.
Checking for charity this weekend. It'll be a lot of fun. We got a great squad, some good pros, some good college kids. It'll be fun. I'll try to keep up with the young guys, and I will report back after the tournament goes, and maybe we'll even have to get a couple of the guys to come on the show just so they can give some scouting reports on how my game is shaping up these days. So with that, as you said, Sunday night, August the 3rd, man, summer is scary how quick.
It was great seeing you and Frank, by the way. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys.
It was a great group. We had a great group of guys. There was like 15, 20 of us at dinner and had a good meal, a couple good nights out, and we'll have to make it a regular thing in the summertime. So with that, I'll tell you, we say it every week. We're inching closer because we need our chat back. And I know we'll have some exciting Johnny news. Well, we can maybe share next weekend, next week's show. We'll save it, but it's exciting. Hopefully will be some good Colby news to follow at some point here. But we look forward to sharing that with you guys next week. And we will start working on a good guest for everybody next week. So with that, we hope everybody has a good week and enjoy. We will see everybody, I guess, next Wednesday. These episodes always come out on Wednesdays for us, 9 a.m. So we will see everybody the following Wednesday, and we will talk to you then.